Okay, real quick rundown, a reminder, you should know all of this already about perimeter, basic shapes, of course, the fact that you use a ruler when you draw your shapes, measure things, all of that sort of stuff. So let's start with a square. I draw a square, show that it's a square, I can put in some right angles like that, that's fine. You should show that it is a square by putting a little line on all of the sides. That means that they're all the same length. The perimeter, I've run out of lined paper by the way, but that's okay. To find that the perimeter, it will be 4L. And of course L will be the length of that side. For a square, all four sides are the same, so perimeter is just 4 times its length. If I was to draw in a rectangle, once again, use a ruler, draw it neatly. You would represent the fact that it's a rectangle with some right-angled sides, and the fact that those two sides like that are the same. Here again, we have a length, and we have a width. Got my arrowheads. Okay, so the perimeter in this case would be 2 times length plus width. Add both of those together and multiply by 2 to work out the perimeter. Okay, now the next one, I don't have a tool that will draw it nice and neatly for me. If you've got something that you can trace around, that is also great. I've seen people use glue sticks before. I'll give it a shot. It won't be perfect, but at least it's something. We have here our circle. Now we can do it's not called perimeter, it's called circumference, but it's from the center of the circle. We could either have been given a radius, we may also have been given a diameter, which is that distance there, all the way through. You can use either or, it doesn't really matter. If you're finding the circumference of a circle, we would need to use, if we're using the radius, 2 pi r. If we are using the diameter, it is just pi d. Okay? So very simple, they're the simple shapes. If you are needing to do composite shapes, just say, and look, I'm going to hope that you get the idea that you need to use a ruler to draw these in, and then I'm going to break my own rule because I need to hurry this along. Just say that you had something like this, where you had a shape that was a combination of things. You've got yourself a composite shape. Well, then you need to think about what shapes make up that, sorry, I said composite, but it's not the right word, compound shape. If you have got part of a circle, then you'll need to activate that learning that you've got in the past, where you go, okay, I know how to find the perimeter or the circumference of a circle. In this instance here, you'd be given numbers. Let's just say there's X there and Y there, and that this is Z, the radius is Z. In this regard, then, you would have, for your perimeter, an X. Well, Z is really half of X. You'd have an X plus 2 Ys plus a half of the perimeter, the circumference of the circle. A half of pi d, right? Which in this case would be pi x. You just have to look at what you've got, right? I will give you one hint though. If you are dealing with part of a circle that is not neat, it's not like a half. Let's just say that you had, I drew it in black, but oh well. Let's just say that you had this, and this isn't exactly 90 degrees. You get told that this angle is actually 50 degrees, and you get given this length. They're both the same length, and this one's 7 centimeters, and you're asked to find the perimeter of this whole shape. Well, how would you do that? Well, you've got two lots of these sides, right? So the perimeter would be equal to that side plus that side. So two lots of the radius, really, because that's the radius of the circle, plus this bit. But how do you figure out this bit if you've only been given 50 degrees? Well, we know that the whole thing, the whole circle would be, well, we've got a radius, so we'll use that, 2 pi r. But we don't have a whole circle. How much of the circle do we have? Well, we've got 50 degrees out of the circle. So if we've got 50 degrees out of the circle, and I'm going to go over this halfway line here, I need to multiply a whole circle by as much as I actually have, which would be 50 over 360, because 360 is a whole circle, but we've only got 50 degrees of it. So if you were to work that out, you would be able to work out that perimeter. So just be a little bit careful that sometimes you're asked to apply old knowledge in a new way. Okay?